So, Phil, now that you've reminded me that Mondo Weiss has been going for 16 years, could you sort of comment a little bit on what the trajectory has been in terms of observing U.S. policy and U.S. reporting from about Israel and Palestine has been during that period, and what, in your view, has changed, if anything?
It's a great question, and it's sort of the ball game. I mean, it's the $64,000 question, right? Because reporting is so key to the American understanding of these issues. I would say that if you recall in 2003, I mean, I'm just going to be a little bit anecdotal about this. To answer your question in a general fashion first, a lot has changed in the last 15 years. And there have been major interventions over those 15 years, beginning with when, soon after my website started, it was mine then, Walden Mearsheimer published their paper, The Israel Lobby, which was a shock heard around the world, exposing the Israel lobby's role in sort of almost controlling foreign policy in this area. So that was in 2006. There have been several Israeli attacks on Gaza since then, 2008 and 2009, 12, 14. And these events have been the fact that Israel has no imagination about how to deal with its Palestinian problem or the Palestinian issue has become more and more evident to Americans. The only thing they know how to do is kill Palestinians and persecute Palestinians. And a lot has changed, but I think that the crucial thing that has happened is that ideas that were marginal when this website began are now coming into the mainstream. Now, this is a truism of all grassroots organizing, I think, on very hard, tough issues. But I was writing today about Tony Judt, right, who wrote Israel, the Alternative in 2003. He said, why not one democratic state? Why do we need a Jewish state? That's a 19th century idea. It's an anachronism. We should be past that. And he was met with the New York Review of Books, where he published it, has a large Jewish audience. There was outrage, and the magazine all but apologized for publishing the piece. Today, the idea that there should be one democratic state in Israel and Palestine has been well advanced in progressive circles, obviously, and we have played our role in doing that. But today, I mean, Peter Beinart, formerly liberal Zionist, is for one democratic state. There are Congress people, a couple of them anyway, who I believe are for one democratic state. This is kind of revolutionary. And there are major human rights organizations that have flatly called what Israel does apartheid. And again, to go back to my earlier frame of reference, when Jimmy Carter said that in 2006, right, he was drummed out of the Democratic Party, really, and for notioning it. And so now you have a lot more people are saying it. It's not being picked up so much by the media as much as we would hope. And certainly the Congress is not reflecting that. But I think it's a long arc. And so what I guess I've described to you is, what I see is great progress, but that has not really changed the Palestinian conditions. Palestinian conditions are worse than they were 15 years ago. But I think the American awareness of what's going on has certainly changed to the better. And we certainly see that in the polling on the Democratic side, and even of young evangelicals who are showing more and more sympathy to Palestinians.